Hello, everyone. We're
Hi,
live.
guys.
We're super happy to have you today for this live webinar of Waalaxy. I'm Guillaume. Here is Mike. I'm one of the co-founder of Waalaxy, and Mike is our current COO, and we're super happy to have you today. For those of you guys who don't know what Waalaxy is the #1 automation tool on the planet with more than 150K users, sorry, and 10K clients around the world. It's a tool that allows to automate sales prospecting on LinkedIn and via email.
Yeah.
And it allows to do much more. And this is what we're going to see today. So the main use case for Waalaxy is to sell something, whether a product or a service. But you can also use Waalaxy to hire people. So we have lots of recruiters using Waalaxy. You can also use Waalaxy to find a job, to conduct market studies, to network, basically anything that requires you to contact people.
Yeah, you can have a product and let's say like you want to launch a tool like in a beta mode or whatever. You want some tips and advices on any subject, you can use Waalaxy to basically do the outreach part and get the results.
Exactly. Today, Mike, we're going to see how to use Waalaxy. Yeah, so we're going to run through the products, and along the way, we're going to give you all the best practices to make sure you have the best results. We are going to take the case of a company that's called Time to Shine. It's a made-up company. It doesn't exist, but it's just an example of the type of client that can use Waalaxy. It's basically an agency that aims at developing the personal brand of managers, anyone who has an expertise somewhere and is willing to share this expertise to help grow his career. So in this webinar, we're going to see this. We also, at the end, going to give you a bit of an overview of the next iteration on the product. So a bit of an overview of the roadmap, product roadmap.
And the big offer.
And
the famous big offer.
Of course, guys, our super big offer of the Black Thursday with a special surprise for today.
But
stay tuned
until the end.
It's going to be interesting. Without further ado, maybe Mike, you want to show us where to start?
Sure. So we will start with the LinkedIn profile itself. So as you may already know that, but like your LinkedIn profile is a landing page. That's it. Basically, it can replace websites, but it's also something that your prospect will always check. So when you send a message to someone or when you send an invitation to someone to basically connect, what they're going to do is go to your LinkedIn profile and see who you are, what you look like, and what you do. And basically, all of those things must be as clear as possible for your prospect. Basically, when they go to your profile, they need to feel that they can work with you and that you can help them to do something. So the first thing is really all about positioning, and it will also help us along the way, especially when Guillaume will show you how to find your prospects. So first thing is your profile needs to answer the question of who you are trying to serve and who is and for whom like your product or service is not for. So let's say, for example, Ella in our case is a LinkedIn coach at Time to Shine, which is her company. And she is talking about skyrocketing the career through personal branding. So it means that she's addressing more like people who want to evolve in their career, meaning that they can change jobs, so maybe change companies. So like she's not targeting like CEOs, for example, because a CEO like won't change his company. So he will like maybe want to grow his personal brand to basically grow his company along the way. But like in our case, Elba is not targeting CEOs, okay? She's targeting people who want to build on their career through LinkedIn. And especially like to find people who are willing to do so, we may want to target people who tried at least once to publish on LinkedIn, basically to see how it's going. So people who have an intent of using LinkedIn for something more than just like having a profile. So your profile is composed of like 5 main parts. The first one is a profile picture. So the basics here, if you can smile, smile. Be at your best. It sounds like maybe like a cliche, but like, please have a picture where you feel that if you were seeing this picture, like in an ad, or if someone were sending you an invitation with this picture, you want to engage with them, okay? Way too much often we see people like on the beach or like on holidays or like just with a black and white picture like philosophers. It doesn't work, okay? Smiley picture, look at the camera. You can hire a professional photographer, you can use AI to do so, but please take some time to have like a nice picture. Then you have the banner, which is this part on LinkedIn. So the banner is the other visual assets that you have on your profile. It needs to basically tell the prospect, like, what's your value proposition? What are you actually doing for me? It's an entire part of your branding. So the colors are important depending on what you want to do. It can also convey any kind of emotion that you feel is your kind of difference regarding like all the offers that could look like yours in the market. So it's really important to take some time also to design it. You can use Canva, you can hire a freelance, really up to you. But like your banner here and what we call the headline here, so basically what's under your name, all together need to answer to the I help who, do what, and how. I'll help managers develop their career with LinkedIn by helping them reach 10K subscribers in 10 months and 10 minutes a day. Okay, that's the who, managers. If I'm a CEO, not concerned. If I'm like just an employee, not concerned. So we have like the no-goes. Then the what, develop my career on LinkedIn. Okay, it's clear. I want to do that. And the how, okay, by helping them reaching 10K subscriber in 10 months, 10 minutes a day. You can like kind of shortcut that in several ways. You can be like, I help CEOs to hire the best talent by giving them access to like the best C-level database in the world. That could work. You have the who, the what, and the how. That's really important there. Then if you have Sales Navigator, you can also add what we call a CTA, a button CTA that LinkedIn gives you the possibility to add like a special button here. If you don't have Sales Navigator, we'll show you Sales Navigator just after, which is quite important for the segment part. What you can do also is basically add a link just under your headline by going to the edit part, and you can like add your website, add a Calendly, anything that you want your prospect to go to. Then you have what we call the About section. Basically, it's kind of the menu in a restaurant. You go into a restaurant, you have the logo, you have all the design of the place. That's basically your profile. And when you want to see like exactly what they can offer, you have the menu. Basically, that's the About section. What you're doing, what exactly you're offering. All those information can be added into the About section. And then, last but not least, you have the Featured section, where it's basically kind of let's say an ad board, like a big billboard that you can split into several small sections. In our case, we just have one, which is clearly not optimized, okay, as this is like a dummy profile just for the demo. We didn't like took the time to optimize that. But basically here you can add all the posts, especially like if you're doing like publications on LinkedIn, you can like add your top posts there. So those that you feel may like convey a sense of expertise for your prospects, or if you want to add like also link to your Calendly, to your website, anything that can basically support your value proposition, could be social proof or something else. For the rest of the profile, not really important. I mean, if you are looking for a job, taking some time to really like develop the experience part could be good. But like when you're prospecting, basically, yeah, we don't have really, we don't look at the experience part. So once you have the profile and you've defined what we call the persona or the ICP, the ideal customer profile, so who you really want to target. And let's be clear there. If you are selling a service, yes, you may be able to address many people, but you need to understand that the message that you're going to write need to be addressed to a specific group in the whole market of your capabilities. Because yes, I can like coach CEOs, like Elda could do so. But like here, she only wants to address managers. And that's why her messages will be like focused on managers. And that's why we also, I mean, that will allow us to also segment all the managers through Sales Navigator. So positioning, find your persona, have a great profile, and now find your prospects.
Exactly, the segmentation parts. So for that, we're going to look at the Sales Navigator. Waalaxy works with every type of LinkedIn subscription, including the free one, but we highly recommend the use of the Sales Navigator for two reasons. The first is that you will have way more filters available, and as we've just explained, segmentation is key. So the more filters you have, the more you will be able to segment, and the better your results. So that's the first reason. The other reason is that there's loads of false positive on the free version of the LinkedIn search. So yeah, we highly recommend the use of the Sales Navigator. Quick tip for you guys, if it's a matter of price, for example, if you think you can't afford the Sales Navigator subscription, there's actually a small trick. The Sales Navigator, when you take a subscription, gives you a 30 days free trial, and you can cancel this free trial right after you take your subscription, and you won't be charged, and you will keep your access to the Sales Navigator for 30 days. So plenty of time to import all of your prospects, and then you won't need the Sales Navigator, at least for a few months.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can buy for 1 month, and overall, Sales Navigator price shouldn't be a concern for you. So that's the point. We're going to spend a bit of time on LinkedIn. I know this can be a bit frustrating for some of you that are maybe expecting that we show the tool, but it's really important that you understand why we do this. Waalaxy is a super powerful tool, but Waalaxy is a tool that mainly allows you to contact people, and the results that you will have with the tool will mainly depends on what you're doing with the tool. And so for that, you need to have all the know-how about optimizing your profile, but also segmenting your prospects and crafting the proper message that will convert your leads into clients. So that's why we're going to spend a bit of time on the Sales Navigator, but rest assured we'll go through Waalaxy right after it. So on the Sales Navigator, what you need to know is that roughly 2/3 of the filters are not really useful. So if you look at years in current position, years in current company, I don't know, seniority level, these are not great filters. Paradoxically, the industry filters is not super interesting because the data is not quite accurate. You may want to, initially you think it's a good idea. I want to target people working in finance, but actually the data is it's the company that says, so the person who's actually creating the company page on LinkedIn that says, oh yeah, I think I'm in the entertainment business or the finance industry, etc. And sometimes it is accurate, sometimes it's absolutely not accurate. For example, if you're a software that help people in accounting or finance, you help them manage their budget. You may want, or you may think you're in the finance industry, but your true industry is the software industry. And so in the end, it totally ruins the segmentation. So even though it might sound like a good idea, we highly recommend you not to use the industry filter, or at least be super careful with it.
Yeah. What you can do just to check that, you can go like to the account tab on Sales Navigator. You can filter by industry, and you have all the companies who decided to use that industry as their baseline, and you'll see that most of them are like clearly not who you want to target. So just a quick heads up on how to check if it's like really useful for you or not.
The main filter that you will want to use is the current job title. It's basically the filter that will define most precisely who is your prospect. So the job title is really, okay, this person is actually a business developer at Salesforce, or she's a software engineer at Google. It's really what the person is doing right now, not 10 years ago, but right now. So it's super important. In our case, we're not going to use that filter, but most of the time, this is going to be the filter you want to use. Bear in mind that you need to use how do you say, by the way?
The quotes.
The quotes, thanks. You need to use the quotes here if you want to make sure business developer, exactly business plus developer will be looked for. Otherwise, if you don't use the quotes, it will be, for example, all the profiles that have business in the job title or developer in the job title. So you may end up with full stack developer, for example, which is way off a business developer. So that's something you have to bear in mind. Also, you may be tempted to use the keyword filter here. Please don't use the keyword filter to look for a job title. It might be an interesting filter to compensate for the fact that you can't find your prospects with other filter, but it's not ideal to look for the job title. So this is important. In our case, we're going to use the post on LinkedIn. This is going to be our baseline for our segmentation because we are selling a service for people that want to post on LinkedIn or that already post on LinkedIn. So that's obviously a key filter for us. What you can see here is that with only this filter, you will have 24 million results. That's a lot of people. So you need to narrow down your search for two reasons. First, if I just stop here, it's really, I'm talking to no one, basically.
A lot of people, yeah.
It's just too many people. And also, you won't really access, you won't really have the possibility to access those 24 million people because there's only 100 pages on the Sales Navigator search, and there's only 25 results per pages. So overall, 2,500 results maximum, no matter how many results you have here. So that's something you wanted to say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're going to narrow down the search, maybe using the geography filter. We want to look for, I don't know, someone in, Austin, Texas.
Okay, yeah, Austin, Texas.
Here, okay, it narrows down to 72K. It's way less. It's still too much, but it's way less. In our case, we want to look for people that have a bit of experience because we want people that have some expertise to share. So let's say maybe 6 to 10 years is quite okay. And then finally, maybe because it's still too many results, maybe you want to look for some people in a specific industry, like the marketing industry.
Field, yeah, I'd say field.
Yeah, field, sorry.
Yeah,
field, my bad. So
okay, that's a really, really, really small search, so could be good. At least it's a good starting point.
Yeah, it's a really good starting point. It's almost 800 prospects, so this is roughly the number of prospects you will be able to contact in a month with Waalaxy. So I would say it's a good start. You don't need to have more prospects for your first campaign. Which is the thing that is interesting with the field, like the marketing field, is that you will have another way to tailor your approach, and you won't exactly speak the same way for a person working in the marketing industry or the finance industry, etc. So it's also a way to craft a proper message, as is the post on LinkedIn filter. But we're going to show you that in a bit. So that's pretty much it for the Sales Navigator. Play with the filter, look to the results that you have here on the right, and make sure this is really the person and the prospects you want to contact. Once you're happy with the results, you can import the prospects from the Sales Navigator into Waalaxy. You just click on import here. From here, let me just switch language.
You should just refresh the page. I think it's okay. All right here.
Okay, so here you click on import, you create a list. Let's say we just call it test webinar. You can have as many lists as you want. In our case, we're just going to import 10 prospects for the sake of the demo.
Let's go.
To be quicker, click here. I'll just switch in English, guys, no worries. And so the imports will actually extract the prospects from the Sales Navigator and have them plugged into Waalaxy. Maybe there's a problem
with the
network.
Yeah, I think we do. Okay, it's great.
Okay, it's working. So yeah, just me switch to English real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
So when you import your prospects, you will find your prospects here in your prospect list. So you will find all of your lists, and you can also have an access to all the prospects from the all prospects tab. It's basically from here that you will be able to start campaigns that Mike will show you in a bit. We also added a few filters. The more interesting, I mean, one of the most interesting is the gender filter, which we added. It's a filter that is not available on LinkedIn. LinkedIn basically doesn't give you the information about the gender, which might be an important factor, especially in your segmentation, because sometimes you're selling your product only to women, sometimes only to men. So it really depends, and it can be used this way. So let's say
depending on your language, like in German, in French, in Italian, you might want like to have some words who need like who are gender dependent. So you might want to use that as well to split your messages.
You have a tag system to organize your list. You have also the possibility to analyze the answer of your prospects to only focus on the positive one. So yeah, and loads of different filters that basically helps you create sort of a mini CRM for LinkedIn. I think the next step is to launch a campaign.
Yeah, I mean, if you want replies, you need to contact people, right? Okay, so we're gonna launch that campaign, and just on the side, just to circle back with like the keyword filter. You've talked about it, saying like, yeah, if you want to use the search bar on LinkedIn, it will like search on the whole profile specific keywords. So most of the cases, most of the time, sorry, you don't need that. But from some specific cases where basically you don't have the filter in Sales Navigator, let's say like you're looking for a mine in finance, okay, trust fund, 6.5 blue eyes, for those who have the reference. The mine finance is easy to find. I mean, man, hard. In finance, you can do that. But like trust fund is already like something a bit harder. So you might want to use a keyword, just in quotes, trust fund, and you'll find all the people working in finance who have on their profile the word trust fund. And at least you can start to narrow down the search. So you have 10 people here. You can start with the campaign. And of course, I think you said it. We are working on LinkedIn, but also with emails.
Of course.
Right? So Waalaxy will help you to basically your first step in cold emailing. So we are not like email marketing tool. We don't do like newsletters, stuff like that. But what we allow you to do is basically have a fully automated campaign, which will send connection requests on LinkedIn, send follow-up messages if you don't have replies from your prospects. And then if they don't accept the invitation, which will be the case, that's why optimizing your profile is so important, because you need to improve that acceptance rate. But in the case where people won't accept it, you can also reach out through email via Waalaxy. So in our case, we are going to look for a campaign which will include an invitation. So you have filters there to basically find all the sequence that you can dream of. We don't like allow you to create customized and complex sequences, because at the end of the day, you don't need a complex system to do something as simple as contacting people. Don't think like by sending an invitation there, then circling back like with a visit in 20 days, then like a follow in 30 days will do anything. If people did not accept within 14 days your invitation, chances are they will never accept it. So let's go for the next prospect and let's move on. So what we recommend is sending a connection request and then up to 3 messages. Okay, we have 95% of the replies were happening within those 3 messages. Okay, 3 touch points, whereas it is through LinkedIn or through email. So in our case, LinkedIn messages, we're going to hit 3, emails 3 as well, and we have different sequences. Let's say like we're going to use like Star Trek, yeah, and we have a quite simple sequence in the end. We start by sending an invitation on LinkedIn. If the prospect accepts that invitation, so basically they are connected with you, because on LinkedIn you need to be connected to be able to send messages to people. Then we wait for a specific time that you can set up for a specific delay. Then we send the first follow-up message. If you get no reply, then we send the second one, no reply, the third one. And the big thing here is if the the person didn't like accept your invitation, so they are still pending. We are still pending for their acceptance. In that case, what we'll do is use what we call the email finder, which will basically allow you to find their pro email address with the best rate on the market. That's kind of a secret. And from there, if we find an email, we can send 1, 2, up to 3, in that case, cold emails to your prospects. Basically, you have the best of both worlds. You start on LinkedIn. If it doesn't work, you go through email. So about what you will say to your prospect, well, it also depends on who you are targeting, right? In our case, the big thing is like the hook. When you are contacting someone to sell something or to ask for something, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're asking for an action. It could be a buy directly, could be purchase, could be a meeting, could be an advice, could be anything. You need to state why you are reaching out. And the why is not like the action itself, but like why you as a person, as an individual. So most of the time, it's like, I've seen that you're CEO. So basically, you're assuming that because they are CEOs, they have this specific problem. In our case, it's quite simple. I have seen that you've posted on LinkedIn, so I'm reaching out because what I do is coaching on LinkedIn. So basically, it fits. So first message here will state, boom, that you've seen the post on LinkedIn and you're asking, okay, is that something you want to continue doing? And then you can start with like a soft pitch explaining like basically what you're doing. In that case, what we recommend is basically testing different approaches. What you could do, so let's say like you have a basic sales navigator search, you manage to narrow it down to like 1,000 prospects. Let's like import half of them into list A and the other half into list B, and you start like 2 different campaigns and you change the first message. So in our case, the first campaign will have like the hello, the hook, I saw your post, so that's the why, and you're asking a question. And then for the first campaign, you keep like the pitch in it, and in the other campaigns, you remove the whole pitch. And basically, you're really asking them something. And you see, and you have to do, I mean, that's what you do in while you're trying to prospect, is you always need to iterate on everything that you're doing. Always trying to test what works best for this specific audience. What words really like will
Resonate?
It will resonate. Yeah, that's the word. Resonate like in people's mind. So we can like have the whole message, or we can just like keep it with just a single question. Once you've done that, we go into message 2, which is basically the second follow-up. So keep in mind, this one will only be sent if you have no reply for the first. So basically, you send an invitation, they accepted the connection request, you've sent a first message asking like, hey, is this something that you're considering? I can maybe help. And you have no reply. Okay, so what should you say? Like, hey, please? No. You need to always bring value. So in our case, message 2 is something that will basically allow you to add like more information about the product, like how easy it is to work with you. Like especially if you're asking for a meeting, it's always good to quantify like how many minutes the meeting will take. So basically, when I have to do a trade-off in my head, like I'm okay with like spending that number of minutes in a meeting if I can get that outcome. Okay, for projects, always that, like, if I buy that, I lose that. Or is it like a good trade-off for me? So in that case, we can like say like, okay, if you're interested, it's just like a 25 minutes time slot. Never like say, hey, let's jump on a call, because what's a call? Is it like 30 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour? I don't know. So add some quantity. So basically my brain is like able to process the information way much easier. In our case, we also add social proof. With like, okay, we work with specific people and this is the results that we got on their accounts. But what you could do also is basically say all of those things with, if I can zoom, a voice note. And that's something why it's not really like used a lot, because LinkedIn only allows you to use voice notes on your mobile. But like with Waalaxy, you can automate the sending of voice notes. So basically, what this second follow-up could be is a voice note saying like, hey, Maybe you need more information about what I said earlier. I realized that I've said something like maybe something not clear or whatever, and I can pitch again. But please make it short, like 30 seconds or less, and you have something that people will reply way much more to because they basically don't read, they've heard your message. So that's the second follow-up. For the third one, it's what we call a breakup message. So basically you've sent an invitation. It's been accepted. First message. Second message, no reply. So right now it's like on a date, right? You're sending many, many, many messages. And at the end of the day, nothing. So you're like, are we in this together or not? By the way, are we in this together? Like such a good cold email, a template. Like if you're working with someone and you're like struggling to get a reply from them at some point after like several back and forth, this is a really, really, really good email. Something like, are we still working on a project or not? That's it. Just a simple question. Here, same process. You can use humor. You're going to show you a template. You can use a question mark, just like, I mean, you're on WhatsApp and suddenly you have a notification, just a question mark. You know that something is wrong there, right? You've missed something. So you can also try the question mark. You can try the first name with the question mark. You can also try to add like something like some pop culture reference, always work like with GIFs. I love this one. I mean, this one is absolutely fabulous. I love it because it's fun, it's light, and people always reply like, I'm really sorry. I've completely forgotten to reply. But if you want to write something, we have an approach that we call the 3 options approach. Basically, it's okay, I didn't get a reply from you, so it could be because of one of those 3 things. The first one is basically it's targeting is off. Okay, you have the problem, but you already are solving it with someone else, so all good to go, nothing there. The second one is okay, you're busy. I get it. You did not have time like to reply to me. Okay, here is what you can do. And the third one is, yeah, in that case, it's 10 minutes a day is way too much for you. Again, we try to be like in the emotion part, try to shock a bit the prospect. What we need is a yes maybe, or a no there. Once you have that information, you can move on. For the email part, remember, it's only like if the prospect did not like accept your invitation. So in that case, the only difference with LinkedIn is you have to write an object, which is the first part of the email that people will read. So there we have many, many, many tips on a blog regarding the object. And yeah, again, in all cases, what's easy there is like they've posted something on LinkedIn. So that's the hook. That's the why we are reaching out. So we can reference it into the mail object. Once you've set up the campaign, well, campaign is running, people are receiving connection requests, are receiving messages, and then they can just reply.
Exactly. You will see all of your actions in the queue section. So here, I don't have any actions right now, but basically if you launch the campaign, that's where you will see the magic happening. Here you'll find, as Mike just said, all of your current campaigns. If you click on a campaign, you'll have, here it's just an email finder campaign, very simple campaign. So you'll have a very simple analytics, but in the case of a more complex campaign, you'll have all of your results in terms of acceptance rates, reply rates, both on LinkedIn and via email. Also, how many professional email you will have found. Those are the information that you will find on the homepage again, but here it's more all the sum of all of your campaigns. So basically an overview of where you stand, number of active campaigns, number of actions in queue, and here a graph that shows you everything that you've done through time. So it's always a nice way to see your activity. We have a team feature. Just a few words on the team feature. So the team feature has many benefits. The team feature is basically many Waalaxy accounts within a single team. So it gives you access to different features, like the fact, so first you see, you have an overview of action in queue for the different person in your team, the number of credit used for the email finder feature.
Yeah.
In this case, we see that Mike has no actions in his queue. So
yeah.
we can go to his account.
Oh no.
What's happening?
I don't know.
So
Maybe
here,
I forgot.
basically on Mike's account, I can do everything that I would be able to do on my account. So I can import prospects, I can delete prospects, create lists, see the campaigns, create campaigns, etc. In this case, let's just take this list, for example, and add it to an existing campaign, so the invitation only. I can do this super easily, and now the campaign will have prospects that will go through the campaign.
And I did not have like myself to go on Waalaxy to do so. Like Guillaume have been able to do it for me.
Exactly. So you can basically manage all of the accounts from a single interface. This is handy for people that are managing multiple LinkedIn accounts, for example. Again, you will have access to the analytics, which shows you all of the actions for the different members. So this is the sum for all members.
Yeah.
But you can also have the information just for some member if you want to. One key feature of the team option is the possibility to have an anti-duplicate security. The goal here is to make sure that all of your sales rep are prospecting different people and not the same person. So basically, when I will import prospects into my account, it will check if the prospect is not already imported into another Waalaxy account. And if this is the case, the prospect will just be skipped and he will not be imported. One small hack, which is, I mean, it's not a hack, but another interesting feature of the team feature is that you can import prospects from one account to many accounts. So in my case, I have the Sales Navigator subscription, but I actually just need one license for the whole team, and that's it. Because the prospects that we're finding on the Sales Navigator, are the same that are on LinkedIn. So if I don't have the Sales Navigator subscription, I can still contact those prospects. Those prospects will be contacted directly on LinkedIn. So if I have a search here and I click on imports, I can import those prospects into my account, but I can also import those prospects into every other member. So that's super handy. Basically, you have a team of 10 sales reps. You just need one Sales Navigator subscription for the whole teams. That's super handy. That's about it for the team feature. Here in your settings, you have the possibility to synchronize your CRM. For now, we synchronize with HubSpot, Pipedrive, and there are other CRMs that are coming. We also want to open Waalaxy to more tools. So in the future, you will be able to import prospects from different sources, not only LinkedIn, but that's a word for later. And last but not least, I'll quickly show you what we've done on the messaging.
Because like you receive replies, but like how do you manage them?
How do you manage them? That's
the thing.
So again, let me just. No, I should be in English though.
Yeah, I think you are.
You can
go to Messenger.
I am.
Good to go.
So when you're on the LinkedIn messaging, you see here you can actually use the templates. So I have written pre-existing templates. Here, the idea is that when you will be generating answers, and a lot of answers, you will tend to have the same questions or the same objections. And instead of writing down the same answer every time or having a Google Sheet on the side and copy pasting and having to write the first name every time, and it's super boring and it takes lots of time, here you can just create your templates for every objections, and when it's done, you can just use them every time, and it will, here you see, use the first name variable. So in my case, it's just the link to my calendar that I have saved, and I can send it every time someone asks for my calendar link. So that's really a time saver. And another cool feature is the possibility to send a message at a later date. So it's a bit hidden, but how it works is basically you start typing a message here, and you see the call to action here, so the send later appears. So it goes from use the template to send later, and send later basically, as its name suggests, allows me to send a message.
Just schedule a message
at a later date. So let's say you have someone that replies, "Oh, I'm super interested, sorry, but I'm currently off. I go back in 2 weeks. Could you please come back to me in a few weeks?" Let's be honest, most of the time we'll just forget about these prospects. It's just
or you
not
have like
convenient.
to do like a task in any kind of CRM.
It's really not practical at all. And in this case, you will just be able to write the message. Again, you can use the variables. You write basically the message, and you can decide to send your message at a later date here. And at least you're absolutely sure that the person will receive the message at the exact time, and you won't forget about it. So that's about it for the Waalaxy app. Now we have a few more information, maybe about the roadmap.
So about the roadmap, so we will ship this year many new things. And first of all, we'll add like a new component to Waalaxy, which is called the state of a prospect. So basically, is your prospect like interested, not interested? Do you need like to follow up with that person? Is it like kind of finalized? That you finalize the deal, whatever the deal is. So it's a brand new column that will appear in your prospect list, and that you'll be able to edit. So basically, you have more freedom on those lists. We'll also add the option like to customize the layout in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. We'll also help you with like the follow-up of some statistics. Let's say like you'll be able to track specific things such as like email openings or like specific clicks on links, which is kind of brand new, especially for LinkedIn. You'll be able to track who is clicking on your links, so really great. We also have the possibility to basically open Waalaxy to some other software to like import prospects. Let's say, for example, from Clay. And we will also like step up the automation game within Waalaxy. So right now, Waalaxy, you come into Waalaxy, you import your prospects, stop your campaign in 5 minutes, and then good to go. Like for the month, you have nothing to do there. Waalaxy will do it all by itself. But maybe you want to add something a bit more, such as like automatically importing prospect into the app, automatically applying a specific tag, or doing something like enriching prospects, or like sending them to a CRM for like with like a specific condition. Everything will be made possible within Waalaxy. So basically, it's a whole new world for automating what's happening inside.
And last, but not least,
sure. We're doing this webinar because we have something coming up in 2 days. On Thursday, the Black Thursday. So yeah, there's a lot of thirst, especially for discounts. And this year we're running again our famous Black Thursday. Basically, you have a 30% discount, so 30% off our advanced and business plan. Also the elite one, which is a brand new plan, but like really addressed for people who want like one-on-one coaching with like our team. So we have access to that as well. But like for the people who are already like working in team, already that have their way around Waalaxy or around their prospecting process, you can benefit from the advanced and business plan in the yearly periodicity for like 30% off. Those plans are already like 50% off all the year. So on top of that, we add a 30% discount. You'll be able to add seats in your current team with that offer. So yeah, it's in 2 days. So don't miss out. We've talked a lot about like outreach, so which is like sending messages to people, but like maybe like some of you guys want like to also create content on LinkedIn. So basically have posts on LinkedIn trying like to build kind of branding. I mean, Elsa's job is to coach people on LinkedIn. So we have many people like asking us for that. So what we've done is basically we created a new tool. So welcome to Kawak with 2 A's. Kawak is our take on what LinkedIn, let's say, post should be. I mean, the experience of like posting on LinkedIn. You have everything you can dream of. You will have a place to basically store all your ideas. We also suggest ideas based on what you posted, on all your interests, on what your profiles suggest. You'll have a brain analytics on all the people like who are like engaging with your content, to be able to generate posts. So we added like a big AI part of Kawak. So basically, it helps you to go over the white page syndrome. So basically, you don't know how to express this idea, but the thing is, like, we're not like working with the AI to generate the whole post. The idea is like just AI will help you to kickstart the post, and then you can really like add all your yourself in your post. Okay, especially we have a feature called storytelling, which helps you to tell a story on LinkedIn. So it's brand new. We already have 10K users. I mean, that's so many people already like loving the product. So especially like the official launch is in 2 days. So follow back Thursday. And if you've purchased a Waalaxy license this day, you'll be able to have 50% off Kawak as well. So let's check it out if you want to build your own personal branding, or like if you're working in a company and you feel like, okay, posting on LinkedIn could be something great as well. Don't do it, please, on your company page. It has absolutely no impact, but do it like with the whole team. And for that, you can use Kawak.
Maybe a few questions for the Q&A, and
yeah, sure.
I think
yeah, we have something like, would it make sense to add visit profile and follow with some days in between as first touch point to the LinkedIn campaign? So, not really. Like data shows like visiting a profile or following a profile before sending a connection request literally has no impact on the acceptance rate. So you could do like specific visit campaigns. Like sometimes CEOs like to just like go over some profiles because they kind of see, I mean, people receive a notification that someone visited their profile, especially good like for recruiters. But like if really the thing is like to improve the acceptance rate, it has no impact, so don't do that. If you already used the free LinkedIn Sales Navigator trial, is there a way to request it again? I'm not sure. I think what Sales Navigator is doing is like offering you a 15% off for like a few months. So you may want to check this out, or just take like 1 month, or you can also create a fake account and get Sales Navigator for free for 1 month. I mean, everything is possible, right? What's the best way to move active leads from a previous campaign to a new one? Well, it's a good question. Basically, when you have finished with the campaign, you have some people who have not accepted your invitation or did not like reply to your messages. So directly in your prospect list, you can have the filter LinkedIn message, and you can hit receive the message and did not reply. And in that case, you have all the people who were in the campaign who received the message but did not reply. Select them all, create new campaign, and you can set up a 1 message or 2 messages campaign just to follow up. And in that case, you can also use voice notes. So here we go.
yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks a lot for the value you delivered, and thanks to you guys for following this webinar. Happy to have you on Thursday, and don't miss the deal. It's only 24 hours, so yeah, don't miss the deal.
See you guys on Thursday.
See you guys.
Bye.